all my life. Been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. Yeah, all my life.
Welcome to Darren and Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, Facebook Live. I am live in studio as Darren is stuck in the Cincinnati airport. Darren, I'm sorry for you, my man. How you doing?
I'm actually doing pretty good, all things being equal. I shouldn't have any cancellations or whatever coming back home this evening, but all is well. Made it to Cincinnati eventually, safe and after a while. But outside of a Chiefs loss, which of course gets me pieced off, I'm doing okay.
Dude, that game was the perfect representation of how your trip is going. It seems like it's going to go so well, and then everything just gets hung up. The refs had a lot to do with it. The Chiefs only having 3 possessions and only coming away with 3 points in the second half has a lot to do with it. Spagnuolo deciding that he is going to say, you know what, we're going to live and die one-on-one with Jamar Chase has something to do with it. Andy Reid's play calling late, especially the timeouts that were very questionable, has something to do with it. Darren, what was your biggest takeaway from that game?
Biggest takeaway is I'm not going to blame the officials. I mean, the officials, that's an easy way out when it comes to wanting to blame what took place. But the defense, the defensive backfield was a big issue, starting with Tyrann Mathieu, starting with Dan Sorensen, and, of course, Javarius Ward. However, let's not overlook the fact that, again, as you mentioned before, the Chiefs' offense scored 3 points in the second half. I falter the offense and Andy Reid on the second half collapse. When you go into halftime and both teams combine for 42 points, you expect a high-scoring game. Now, there was nothing on Cincinnati's defense that within the locker room told me that they could come out and hold Kansas City to only 3 points in the second half. Now, they do what Kansas City does. They elected to defer. They got the ball, and they end up going down the field, scoring on their opening possession in to start the third quarter. But Kansas City had every opportunity, if they wanted to continue to push the ball down. There were 2 consecutive drives in the third quarter that Kansas City, either via penalty or the play calling, did not allow them to get a first down. And drop passes by Tyreek Hill, which you notice in the Chiefs' loss, it always deals with a situation where Tyreek Hill is dropping a big pass somewhere along the way. Somewhere in the game, when it matters most, when the Chiefs can either put the game away or expand the lead, Tyreek Hill seems to be that one same factor that's always dropping passes when it matters most. At the end of the day, Kansas City, they had every opportunity to keep the game from getting close. And once they got the game to 28-21 and Kansas City did not extend the lead, and then you allowed them to come back in and tie. And then, of course, you get the ball in the fourth quarter. You're methodically marching down the field. You're trying to run the football, thankfully, but, again, it was too little too late. You're trying to run the football down the field, but then instead of you going for the touchdown, you end up, because of your play calling, and I don't know what some of the calls were. I can't remember what some of the calls were, but you're not going for the first down marker, and because of that, you end up kicking a field goal. You left a little bit too much time on the clock, if that's even the case that can be said for Joe Burrow, but you left too much time on the clock to where, because you kicked a field goal, they only had, and to tie the game, they only had to march down the field, and they could either go for a field goal or for a tie or a touchdown for the win. They were going to win either way. But the fact that you left them that much time where all they had to do was do a walk-off field goal, that was something that was unexcusable.
So Todd Lebo is now in studio joining us. Todd, I want to ask you something here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Javarius Ward actually played a fairly solid game. I know the box score looks horrendous, but he was in the right spot a ton in this game. It seemed to me that Joe Burrow was making fantastic throws in only the right spot that only Jamar Chase could get it. I don't know what more Ward should have done. I think that's more on
Javarius
Spags.
had an okay day. He was there in the picture. He got a little bit of the, better into the stick a couple of times. He had a pass breakup in the end zone. 2 plays later, Chase caught a touchdown on him. Everybody on the Chiefs defensive backfield deserves a piece of this L. They all got beat. All of them. Charvarius Ward got beat a couple of times. Daniel Sorensen obviously, came in too flat on the long touchdown play.
Gosh.
Tyrann Mathieu got beat for a touchdown, the game-winning touchdown or the go-ahead touchdown. Tyrann Mathieu was the guy right in front of Chase on the first touchdown when like 4 guys didn't touch him and he scored the touchdown. Fenton, multiple penalties. Thornhill missed tackles. I mean, Snead got a couple penalties. One of them very questionable, but still, he got the penalty at the end, and it was a good call, whatever, hands to the face.
Oh.
They all, when someone throws for 400 and some yards, it can't be just one guy. They all have a piece of this one. All of them need to be looking in the mirror. And, honestly, like Darren said, the coaching staff too, 3rd and 27, the ball's at the 41-yard line. I understand, I guess, the idea of trying to blitz and have them get sacked and take them out of field goal range, I guess, right? Because if they just are incomplete at the 41, you're looking at a 58, 59-yard field goal. I don't know if they would kick that. They may punt it away. If you sack them and it's 4th and 35, they don't have any choice but to punt the ball away to you. They got beat. I mean, Charvarius Ward is an okay player, but he's not a Pro Bowl cornerback. Jamar Chase is a top 5 draft pick who's a stud, and he got beat by a better player. The number 1 pick in the draft from 2 years ago threw a perfect pass to the number 5 pick in the draft this year, and they caught it. I mean, those things happen sometimes. It's a very frustrating loss because what it's done now, guys, is now their world's just in an upheaval. Now they're playing on Saturday at 3:30 instead of playing on Sunday at 3:30 at the same time. They would have moved Tennessee to 3:30 in the afternoon. They would have played at the same time. Now they can't not play, right? You can't just say, we'll take the 2 seed. They need to go get the 2 seed now. And they got to hope for the best on Sunday. And they're going to do it on a short week. And they had everything just kind of laying there in front of them. And now everything is in question for them. Devastating loss for the Chiefs, but they can fix it. You just got to go out and beat the Broncos. And maybe you can beat the Broncos without trying real hard. They got all kinds of issues, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you got to take care of that game. You win that game, and then you pray for a miracle on Sunday. And if it doesn't happen, you just go win your first game. And then the Titans don't look like a team that's just going to go win everything. I could see them losing their first playoff game, and all of a sudden, you get yourself the 1 seed back, right? You'd have to go secure the 2 seed now.
Yeah.
You have to.
With Rashad Fenton clapping at the referees, I understand his confidence. I kind of appreciated it, but at the same time, I'm like,
delusional.
Those were legitimate penalties. Those weren't even close to being the questionable calls in the game. And that seems like a good chance of drawing a 15-yard unsportsmanlike. Is that something that you think
let the refs do their
addressed?
job?
Earlier on in the season, Fenton had a similar situation where he was getting in the face of the opposing players and doing stuff. Is this a situation where Andy Reid or Spags needs to say, hey, Fenton, you got to chill, my man?
No, because one, they're not going to do it because they probably agree with it. If you remember, and I believe what you're talking about, Sterling, one of them, the first time I think he got that flag where he I forgot where it was where he got it, but he got the flag, and then the next time he ended up throwing the receiver out of bounds. That's when he drew another flag. Now technically the receiver was still in bounds, so I mean why they flagged him for a personal foul or whatever for that, we're still kind of, because even the Cincinnati media was pretty shaken up about that. Like, why would they call a personal foul when the dude was still in bounds? So of course he's going to throw him out of bounds to make sure he doesn't continue further. But the fact that he kept doing that, and you could kind of tell that the officials were kind of taking over and were starting to become more and more of an impactful part of the game, because of the antics of Rashad Fenton. And because if you realize, he was the one that was getting the most penalties getting called on him when it mattered most. When it was 3rd down, 4th down, you could tell because of the aggressiveness of how he was playing, that was giving the officials, every reason to throw that flag on him.
It was not a pretty game. I think the play you're talking about was actually Snead on the personal foul out of bounds. They ended up saying horse collar, and if you look at the replay, he did get his hand inside the back collar very late. I don't think the official saw that. It was more of just an unnecessary roughness. There was no reason to body slam the player, is the point. And that came after a really bad pass interference call. But Snead had a couple. He had 3, I think. I think Fenton had 2 or 3. Daniel Sorensen didn't touch anybody, so he didn't get any penalties. Charvarius Ward, I don't think got a PI. Maybe he should have gotten one.
But that's my point.
Better
Charvarius Ward
than
had a
that.
decent game because he was in the right spot without getting PIs.
But Daniel Sorensen did make a couple plays down at the end. The question is, should you have been trying to stop them from scoring? That's the big question.
I almost say Andy Reid had it played to a T, but you give him six tries to score from 1 yard.
Once they get the ball,
get it.
Once they got the ball inside the one, it was first and goal inside the one. I think that's when you have to let them score.
But they stopped him.
They did stop
him.
But
it took a semi-bogus call in the end zone.
But whatever. The point is this. We know this. I think that Zach Taylor played it wrong by going for the touchdown, but he played it right because they won.
Sure.
And I think Andy Reid played it wrong by not giving the ball back to his offense, which is the best part of their team, and they lost. So, that's just the way it goes.
It'd be a whole different conversation if it wasn't for that last penalty, because I agree with you. I think they should have let him score on that first QB sneak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let him go in. You give yourself, I think you had one timeout left and about
just barely under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
They had all kinds of time.
Yeah, so I understand that. You did stop.
Here's the one question: what makes you think that they were really trying to score from the 1 yard line?
You're right, Darren. It looked like the Chiefs were trying to stop them, and they weren't necessarily trying to score. It was kind of a half-hearted effort because it looked to me on the first down run, or the one that got them a first down inside the 1 yard line. It looked to me like Mixon almost dove down inside the one instead of scoring.
Exactly.
On that one. It was a fascinating end of the game on that front because there are so many people now who say, let them score. The only chance you have to win. Now, if they'd have gotten them stopped, they stopped them. I mean, the Bengals should have just kicked the field goal instead of going for the fourth down, and the Chiefs would have had 40 seconds and had to go score a touchdown. But they didn't do it, and they ended up getting lucky and getting the automatic first down. Then the game was over, So it was fascinating though because the Chiefs don't do a lot of new school things. They go for occasional fourth downs, but they don't do a lot of the stuff. They just don't do much of it. It seems like they do because they're kind of wide open, but they don't really do a lot of crazy stuff. And so they were playing it old school, like you stop them, you make them earn it. And they got burned.
And like you said, one of the things that the Chiefs end up doing is that they don't do the things that teams will do against Kansas City that teams know that they need to do to beat Kansas City. Kansas City will beat itself, obviously, because of some of the decisions that they make. But like you said, when they initially got the penalty and they got inside the 1 yard line, I believe they went for the touchdown on the first, on the first play. But after that, they realized that if we do score, we are giving Patrick Mahomes the ball back. But if we continue to just go at the 1 yard line, we still got our timeouts. Kansas City has to burn their timeouts, and then by the time fourth down happened, I think then yes, they were trying to go for the win. They were trying to go for the touchdown.
Yeah, they ran 2 quarterback sneaks.
Yeah.
In a row, and that's when they made the Chiefs use their timeouts. And they were kind of half-hearted quarterback sneaks,
exactly.
They were kind of weird. Then they ran Mixon once, and then they had the fourth down play, which I do think Mixon actually scored on, the one where they're offsetting penalties.
Yeah.
He didn't score. He didn't score.
They would have replayed it. They would have reviewed it, and had there not been a penalty, and he would have scored, and then it would have been a moot point anyway. But the worst case scenario was at that point. That's when I thought Zach Taylor's was going to come to his senses and go, what am I doing here? I'm just going to kick the field goal. And that would have been 48 seconds to go for the Chiefs, but they went for it. And then they end up getting the penalty, which was a real penalty on Snead. And then they got to kneel on it and then just go kneel on it and then spike it. So they wouldn't have the clock rolling. Went out there and kicked it. They played that part beautifully, but it's just, it takes big balls to go out and do this if you're Zach Taylor. But here's what they wanted. They wanted, and this is the way Brandon Staley and the Chargers feel. They think they have better players, so they want their players deciding the game. They didn't want their defense deciding the game, okay? So I get that. And they didn't want to lose this game and then have to wait and see what happens tonight with Pittsburgh and Cleveland and then actually have to go win a game next week. Right now, they are in. They made shirts. They printed them up. They're division champions. They're in the playoffs. They got a home game. I guess there's some respect for that, but it's just hard for someone. I'm a little bit old school. I'm halfway new school, halfway old school. That's crazy for me to go for the touchdown when it got to fourth down and not kick the field goal.
No, I love it.
I know you love it.
That's incredible. You know why?
It worked.
No, not just because it
Right.
didn't work. 'Cause if you miss, Chiefs at that point have a worse chance than they would trying to kick a field goal
except
with 48 seconds to tie it into OT.
If you'd have given the Chiefs the ball with 48 seconds to go and all they had needs a field goal, then that's a bad choice.
That's what I'm saying.
But if they score the touchdown, then the Chiefs need a touchdown. That's different.
That's my whole point of why it's, in my opinion, it was a great decision. Your worst case scenario is the Chiefs, you're going to overtime.
No, I don't think so.
That's
if
you
you didn't get it, the Chiefs have the ball and they just need a field goal.
48 seconds on their half-yard line with, what, 2?
Would you feel
backup
comfortable
offensive
then?
linemen?
Would you feel comfortable as a Bengals fan?
You know what? I would say this. I would feel more comfortable in that situation than I would giving Patrick Mahomes the ball at the 25 with 48 seconds left. You're basically going to OT because Harrison Butker has maybe the strongest leg in the league. Second or third.
I don't know.
I'm saying
there's no lose factor if you kick the field goal. The lose factor is if you go for it and don't get it, then you're tied and you can lose. If you're winning by 3, I don't think you can lose in regulation.
I don't know, man. I think I like
Here's
what
the deal.
he did.
It worked for him.
Sure.
And that's the thing. Like Brandon Staley's craziness at Arrowhead worked for him. They were crazy to score the touchdown instead of kneeling on the ball and kicking a field goal to win the game, but it worked. So you think it's okay. Well, then he was crazy in L.A. and he lost. So I don't know.
Chiefs are the better team. So if you can take 1-1 from Kansas City, I would probably say that's the way to go.
It was wild. I mean, Darren, you were there. The Bengals fans had to go crazy. I mean, this was a big deal for them. They feel like they have a great young team that has a bright future.
Well, yes, I was there, but for the Bengals fan, again, in the AFC, everybody's measuring stick is the Chiefs. So you feel like if you can beat the Chiefs, especially this time of the year, knowing that if you have to play them in the playoffs, having to win this late in the season against Kansas City, and let's just say for the sake of argument, it somehow becomes at Arrowhead a Chiefs-Bengals, AFC Championship game to go Super Bowl. Well, they feel confident enough that they can do the same thing that they did in Cincinnati and do it in Arrowhead. I mean, trust when I tell you, Lebo, it was cold. Now, I was in a warm press box, but when you go outside, that wind.
You weren't cold at all, buddy.
No.
It was cold here.
No. Trust me. No, because in case you forgot, the stadium sits off the river. So when that wind was blowing and it was 20 degrees, when that wind was blowing, that cold hit a whole lot differently. And I had to walk back. Steve and I had to walk back to the hotel from the stadium. So trust me, it was cold. But I said it to say that for the Bengals to be able to beat Kansas City like they did and in the manner in which they did, especially when you kind of feel like they outcoached them and outplayed them in the second half, that gives them confidence that if they were to come up against Kansas City in the playoffs at Arrowhead, they have the confidence to feel like they can come into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl. So what it does for them is build up the confidence and gives them, I would say, the liquid courage going into the playoffs that they feel like, well, hell, if we can beat the 2-time defending AFC champion team, we can beat anybody going into the playoffs. And if you look at who their first opponent might be, I think it's supposed to be the Colts, I think, right about now at the number 6 seed. So it would either be the Colts or the
Chargers. It could be. It just kind of depends on what happens in the game. I mean, we got to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, but if you look at it, but if you look at the seeding, where it currently is now, yes. If I'm the Bengals, I'm feeling pretty confident. To your earlier point, though, Lebo, when you talked about the Tennessee Titans, I can see a scenario where Kansas City can still, get, if they can clinch the number 2 seed Saturday, where their first game would be against the Chargers or the Raiders. They win that game. Kansas City would then have to host someone else. But the first game for the Tennessee Titans could end up being the Buffalo Bills. Even though if they beat Buffalo in Tennessee, you know how it is the second time around. It could.
Oh, yeah, and they barely won. They won that game because Josh Allen slipped on a 4th down play when they were going crazy, like Sterling likes. They were going for a big force. The Chiefs can't play the Raiders. My understanding is if the Chargers win, they'll play the Chargers. If the Raiders win, they'll play the Colts. That's who the Chiefs will play first. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. So we don't really need to worry about any of that stuff at this point. Yeah, we know this. If the Chiefs play Saturday, if they win, they're the 2 seed. They need to go lock the 2 seed up and then pray for a miracle on Sunday. If they don't get it, then you do whatever you got to do to get to the next round. And like you said, I mean, I don't believe in the Titans. The Titans don't believe in the Titans. They don't think they're going to just roll through everybody. Now, maybe Derrick Henry rolls off the bench in the playoffs. That's what there's still plenty of rumors about.
They've been running fine without him, by the way.
They've been just fine.
They've been just fine on the ground. Dante Foreman has been incredible. running the football for the Tennessee Titans. They've just been so banged up on that offensive line and at wide receiver. Their defense isn't anything special. To me, though, I think the Chargers would be the absolute worst-case scenario for Kansas City. You'd be facing them a third time. They've taken you to the brink twice. What do you guys think? I think the Chargers is the worst possible case scenario for Kansas City first round.
No. Chargers probably the best team because, one, they're a California team. I mean, now granted, they play in the Dome, and so does Indianapolis, but they still Indianapolis. They still have that cold weather. They don't have that in Los Angeles. So you bring the Chargers in Arrowhead in mid-January. Nah, I like the Chiefs' chances on that one.
No, give me the Colts. Give me Carson Wentz.
The Colts have a running game.
Yards.
The Colts have a running game. That's the worst thing you want to bring in the Arrowhead.
And they also have Carson Wentz. He throws for 57 yards. If you think I'm going to be worried about Carson Wentz, you're out of your dome, man.
Okay.
Jonathan, you're telling me, tell Spags, all right, guys, put 8 guys in the box, and that's it. That's all you got to do. That's how you stop the Colts. The Colts can't score enough. Colts would be a great team if they had anyone other than Carson Wentz, and I should know I'm a Carson Wentz supporter, and I've come to see he's not it.
All right, man. Lebo, you take that, man. I can't. I got nothing.
We don't need to worry about who the Chiefs are playing yet because it's still. I mean, because this time last week, all anyone was talking about was, boy, 1 seed's all wrapped up. People were overlooking Cincinnati here locally. I think we all made fun of all the national people picking them. To do well. I was dubious because
I always said we didn't know which Cincinnati team was going to show up. The one that gave
right. You didn't know if they were ready to be big time, and look, they were ready to be big time. They did it.
They're the same. To me, the same build-up almost as the Chargers. They have a similar makeup. Their highs are extremely high. Their lows are extremely low. To me, they're a dangerous team because they're so difficult to prepare for because they don't have a single baseline. They don't. If you're a Bengals fan, you got to be super excited right now because you have all this young talent, like you said. But that's what, to me, made them so difficult because you have no idea how to prepare which Bengals team was going to show up.
Yeah, and we'll see what they're ready for. Now, the scary part for Chiefs fans, their losses have all come to teams that they might be playing.
That's the worst part.
That's the kind of scary part about it. But none of these, except. I mean, the Titans game was a blowout, but it was a really weird one. The Titans aren't the same now. The Chiefs aren't the same now. The Bills game was not good, but the Chargers game, they lost. The Bengals game were very highly contested games. It's just going to be wild. Playoffs going to be wild, man. They're going to be absolutely wild because, like we said, I don't think anyone is head and shoulders above everyone. I don't think anyone thinks this is the strongest number 1 seed ever in the Titans.
Oh, no.
And we were talking about if the Chargers, they might have not made the playoffs. And they're still not in the playoffs. And they look very good. So 1 through 7, man, this AFC looks like just about anyone can beat anybody. And that's going to be a lot of fun.
I will say this, though. The thing that concerned me most about what I saw yesterday in Cincinnati is, and we've talked about it before, sometimes the arrogance of the coaching staff, because as much as Jamar Chase was killing them, fact that Steve Spagnuolo or even Andy for that case, because he allows the defense to coach themselves or whatever, the fact that you don't make any adjustments and that you decide that you're not going to move someone over on Jamar Chase, like I posted yesterday, like, when are they going to do something? Because don't they realize this kid Jamar Chase is pretty good? I mean, the fact that you see this man, just abusing the defense and you decide to just single cover him the entire game. I don't know because I think Nate Taylor had asked him something about that after the game, and he didn't, and Andy didn't want to address it or whatever. And I'm like, I mean, that's part of the game, because everybody's talking about Spags, but we don't get Spags until Thursday. And by that time, Spags ain't gonna be thinking about this game. He's gonna be thinking about the Denver Broncos. Now, I think that question needs to be asked because at the end of the day, why can't you do in-game adjustments, or why didn't you do an in-game adjustment, knowing that you allowed one player? Now, mind you, it'd be different. It'd be different that Joe Burrow, spread the ball around like Patrick likes to do from time to time, and you got maybe Kelsey and Tyreek beating you versus just one or the other. They had one player, 3 touchdowns. Now, if I'd have took that parlay yesterday with him, with 3 touchdowns, that'd have been something within itself. But the fact that you allow one player to beat you is inexcusable.
To me, the Bengals look like they had the more experienced coaching staff. They adjusted. They went into halftime figured out what they're going to change, what they're going to do differently. They did it, and they won.
But here's the worst part. Hold
looked
on,
like
but
the
Sterling,
more experienced coaching staff.
But Sterling, but here's the worst part about it is it's really hard to blame the defense because look, one of the things that I talked about on our pregame show yesterday was that for the Chiefs to win, because of how bad that offensive line has been for the Cincinnati Bengals, you should be able to get pressure, sack the quarterback, and for the Chiefs, kind of run the football because what you don't want to do is have a repeat of what Burrow did last week, against the Ravens, throwing for that many yards. Well, the Chiefs actually ran the ball effectively for a little bit over 155 yards, and they sacked the quarterback 4 times. Again, I put the blame on the offensive side of the football and more so than Spags. I mean, penalties are going to come. It is what it is, but no excuse where you only score 3 points in the second half of the ball game. And when you felt the momentum shifting, where they were coming back scoring, where they took it from 28 to 14, 28-21, that was your time then to whether it was to go back to the run game, kick a field goal, to kind of extend the lead to 11 versus the 10 versus 10. My math is. Forgive me. I graduated with college with a D- in math. But be that as it may, the Chiefs should not have scored only 3 points in the second half. If they do what they're supposed to do on offense, we're not even having this discussion, no matter what type of game Joe Burrow had, because they had that game because the Chiefs' offense ran into quicksand versus what the defense gave up.
Sure, I agree with you, and I also want to say the coaching staff, I think, did a little bit of a disservice. You mentioned it. Darrell Williams ran for 6.3 yards a carry. Derek Gore busts off a 25-yarder and then immediately gets sat on the bench. I don't understand this. I don't get why the Chiefs just don't ride the hot hand.
I mean, Derek
Gore had a 25-yard run and then immediately goes, all right, pal, no more from you. We don't want to see that anymore. I just don't understand the Chiefs' mindset when you're getting anything that you want on the ground. And then all of a sudden you decide, nah, screw it. We don't want to do this. I don't know, Lebo. You know me. I'm always a pass-first guy. I tend to do, the dive into the analytics. But when you're doing 6.3 yards a carry with Darrell, Derek Gore's 3 rushes for 37 yards, and then you decide, hey, we don't want that. What's the mindset?
Well, I thought the Bengals did a nice job of keeping the ball away from the Chiefs a little bit too. I mean, that was part of it. And the Chiefs they couldn't make the plays when it counted. On third down, they had a short pass on their first drive of the second half, had to punt. And then they had to punt it again. They got to midfield and had an incomplete pass. That was, it was a short one. It was short of the play. And when they got down there and had to kick the field goal, they got blitzed and Patrick had to throw the ball away. I mean, they just didn't have a lot of plays in the second half. So those were big. It's one of those things where the Bengals had a better game plan in the second half. They executed it better.
The 4th and 5 or 4th and 4, they were on the Bengals side of the field in the second half. I don't know if that was the first drive or the second drive. I know they punted.
Second drive.
It only ended up being a 25-yard change of field position.
Yeah, Tommy had not a great punt. They were right about midfield on their edge, and it wasn't a very good punt.
My point was, why didn't the Chiefs try to be more aggressive? They were moving the ball at will. You knew the Bengals were moving the ball at will.
Then they punted a 31-yard punt at the 45 of the Bengals.
That's what I'm talking about.
The second one, yeah.
Well, I just don't understand the mindset of your offense has been rolling. The Bengals' offense has obviously been rolling. Don't you trust your offense to pick up 4 yards?
That's why we say the Chiefs aren't exactly new school. They're just not.
Pisses me off.
I know, but they're just not. I mean, you kind of think they are, but that right there was an opportunity. It was 4th and 6. They had a 3rd and 12 and completed a short pass. They didn't go for the first down, really.
Yeah,
on third down.
My thought process was you're trying to get half and then do it again.
And then they punted away. They're not new school on a lot of these things. They just aren't.
Let me just say
maybe
this.
they'll change. I don't know.
Let me just say this before we go to break. I just want this on the record, Lebo, that you heard Sterling just talking about how the Chiefs, why they didn't keep running the ball when such as an average 6.3 yards a carry and such as an average 25-yard run, and then you bench them. Now, mind you, just last week I was telling them that the Cleveland Browns should have kept running the football against the Packers when they were averaging almost 9 yards a carry. But he's like, well, why would you do that? Why don't you throw the football? because that way, you would have had instead of putting the ball in Baker Mayfield's hands to try to win the ball game, keep it in the running game where you get 9 yards a clip. See, Sterling, don't think I don't remember. I know you can't have
They
it
were
both
down
ways.
though. Scenario matters, Darren. They were down with like 58 seconds left. Running the football made no sense in that scenario.
All they needed was a field goal to win, Sterling. They had timeouts. If you keep running the football to keep the ball out of Baker's hands, where he ended up throwing an interception. All that being said, you got to be consistent. I know we got to take a timeout. You listen to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City.
Hi, I'm Jordan, president of Digital Lagoon, a web and design agency. This year, I'm proud to be celebrating 25 years in business. Here at Digital Lagoon, we can provide you with a strategic digital marketing strategy. With the implementation of social media, SEO, and online advertising, these programs are proven to improve your website traffic. Let us collaborate with you to structure a plan and cut through the digital noise. Check us out at lagoon.com. That's lagoon.com.
Here's a terrific way to start the new year right. Get fit, stay fit, and save big. It's all at the J, the Jewish Community Center, with the area's best full-service fitness center, indoor and outdoor pools, and so much more. I love it, my family loves it, and you will too, especially now when you can enjoy 2 months free. And you can win a $500 grocery gift card and more if you come to one of 2 open houses on Saturday, January 15th and Tuesday, January 25th. Visit thejkc.org/open house for more information.
Family Leisure's After Christmas clearance sale is here. Family Leisure has the best prices of the year on closeout, scratch and dent, and overstock products, and bonus deals for you if you mention 810. Pool tables, foosball, air hockey, bars, and bar stools reduced by up to 70%. Hot tubs, tanning beds, and home theater seating at their best prices. Family Leisure has the best products, best selection, and best prices guaranteed. Take advantage of the special 810 deals while they last. Family Leisure, K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe.
Awesome! 'Tis the season to start thinking about holiday gift giving. Let me suggest the gift of flexibility with a Stretch Zone gift certificate. We all need more flexibility and less pain in our life. Stretch Zone offers 30-minute practitioner-assisted stretching sessions that can help with muscle tightness, stiffness, tension, and limited mobility. Treat someone you care about to the gift of a stretch. I promise they will not be disappointed. Check them out at stretchzone.com with 4 KC locations in OP, Lenexa, Prairie Village, and Lee Summit.
Hey, KC, this is Jack Johnson, the host of The Shift on ESPN Kansas City. If you live in Leawood, you have heard plenty about the Iron Horse Bar and Grill located on the corner of Null and 151st Street. They have become a local favorite with their scratch cooking and late-night fun atmosphere, including live music, karaoke, and DJ events.
But did you know they have the best happy hour in the area with drink specials running from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and a reverse happy hour Sunday through Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m.?
Check out the Iron Horse Bar and Grill on 151st and Null.
Clogged drain, leaky faucet or toilet, dealing with a plumbing emergency? Homeowners who care call Kate's. And if you call today, the service call is free. Call Kate's at 913-888-4470 or visit katesheatingandcooling.com to schedule your plumbing appointment today. And the service call is free. 913-888-4470. Kate's Heating, Cooling, and now Plumbing. Service makes the difference.
Hi, Holly Gates here. The Gates family would like to say thank you for allowing us to serve you for 75 years, a milestone which would not have been possible without your support. Thanks again, and remember, whatever the case may be, keep the faith.
Welcome back to Darren and Sterling here at ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com, and Facebook Live. Lebo.
God of Thunder.
Yeah.
That's Darren's nickname, the God of Thunder.
Hey, man, don't even joke like that, Lebo. I'm sitting there looking at my phone now and saying that my flight's delayed for a half hour. So now I leave out at 8:50 Cincinnati time and arrive back to Kansas City at 11:05. This is not.
Listen, I told you don't go to Cincinnati. Why don't you listen to me?
Dude, or drive. It's 8 hours.
Hey, no, trust me, man. Well, no. Now, had I known that Dane and them were gonna drive up there, I probably would have tried to ask to help them drive or whatever, or help ride in the vehicle. But Nope. Hey man, you got sponsors. People look, man. When you build a brand, people want to see you there and stuff. The suits and stuff. Look, man, I got to do what I got to do. So I got to leave out for Denver on Friday now. So
Sure, but the 5 Ps, Darren. Prior planning prevents poor performance. You forgot. You should have driven, man. I told you going into it.
Hey,
I told you.
Here's the bad news. Bad news is this time of year with all the holiday travel and all the COVID stuff and the flights getting canceled, it's just stink. I wouldn't go anywhere right now. That's just me, though.
Well, see,
I'll just sit right here.
Now, the thing that's killing me the most is whether or not, if the Chiefs do somehow have to travel to Nashville to face the Titans, if they make it that far to face the Titans in the AFC Championship game. That's the one I'm gonna have to drive to because airline tickets are gonna be too expensive. Maybe I can get Chad to, be in the holiday spirit and pay for a round trip ticket or something. But yeah, that's the one I'm worried about. That's why I really hope Kansas City can get home field advantage.
Did you see the schedule Chad put out? He's got you doing a show Saturday. You gonna be there? You gonna be in Denver in time?
Well, I mean, as long as my flight doesn't get delayed on Friday, I should be. Yeah, he texted me about that last night. He said he was going to talk to you and Drake about it. So I told him, I said,
you're on the schedule.
I know. He texted me. I told him it was fine.
You gotta be in studio, Darren. You gotta do the show here, then fly out after.
No. You do it from there. That's fine.
Well, I was already going to be doing it from Denver. I'm going to just get to the stadium.
Will it be in an airport again?
No. If you get there Friday, you'll be just fine.
No, if I get there, when I get there Friday, I'm doing it from the stadium Saturday morning. I just have to get up early and get to the stadium. That's all. I'll just be at the stadium all day. So, yeah. But don't worry. So, Lebo and you will be a part of the show live. So yeah.
I think we need to talk about AB. Antonio Brown's
his nickname is Can't Get
taking
Right.
his shirt off, refusing to go back in the game, bailing, leaving. My initial thought was this dude's an idiot. He's done. My second thought was I actually feel kind of bad because there's something obviously wrong with Antonio Brown. He needs help. This is not a normal thing. I don't know if it's concussions. I don't know if it's CT. I don't know what it is, but this is not a normal thing that people do. So while my first initial reaction was, wow, what an idiot. My second thought was, man, I hope he actually gets some help because this is not there's a reason why we've never seen this in the NFL ever.
I don't feel sorry for him
he has had a lot of issues in his life over all these years. I don't think he's helped himself with the way he's acted. I don't think the people around him have helped him. But many times you can only help someone so much.
Sure.
And you can tell. So I would think he's had to have had people in his life say, you need to chill out or think about this and don't make a rash decision. He's made a lot of rash decisions in his life.
All of them.
And this is like the most rash decision to leave during a game. We'd seen him in Pittsburgh before kind of sit and pout on the bench and stuff like that. But to take your pads off and throw your shirt in the stands and leave the stadium during a game that your team is losing when you're fighting for playoff positioning and all that, it's inexcusable as far as football goes. In today's world, though, people do consider, people's mental health more than they did in the past. But regardless, if your mental health is not in the right spot, you can't help the football team. And he is in a bad spot right now as far as those things go. And I wish the best for him in his life, but this is the precise reason that 3 years ago, when people say, "Oh, the Chiefs should go after Antonio Brown," I was like, "No, they should not. They should not get anywhere near Antonio Brown because he has been a malcontent and troubled, whether it's on purpose or not. Either way, you don't need that in your football team." And I can remember opening day of 2 years ago when he finally got cut by the Raiders and ended up going to New England like week 2 and scored a touchdown against the Dolphins. All the Chiefs fans are like, oh, my God, what are the Chiefs going to do? How can the Chiefs possibly match up with Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown when they're in New England? And by the time the playoffs came around, they weren't on the team anymore. They weren't there. And you can't count on people like Antonio Brown to be on your team at this point in their lives. For whatever reason, I'm not judging his mental health or whatever, but you can't count on him. And that was like nothing I'd ever seen before. Quitting during the middle of a football game in a public setting like that is absolutely incredible. And I'd say I can't believe it, but since it's him, that's the one guy in the league I could say, oh yeah, that fits. I believe that.
I'll say this. I mean, I don't feel sorry for him. I mean, it's hard for me to feel sorry for somebody that makes that kind of money, that has that had the chance to make even more money, but goes and do something as stupid and embarrassing as it was. So I'm not going to make any excuses for him, and I'm not going to allow excuses to be made for him. I mean, he made the decision. He's a grown ass man. I mean, his teammates try to calm him down. He wanted to put on the show. And, he wanted to show out, so he got wore out. And so that's why he had to catch an Uber and find his own way back to Tampa Bay. And so, no, seriously, I mean, you're laughing. I mean,
no, how great was it, though? An Uber driver in the middle of the Bucks-Jets game, you get a ping to pick up a rider, and you see Antonio Brown. What if you're just driving next to the city and you're listening to the game on the radio? You look over in the car, Antonio Brown's just chilling in the back seat. How wild would that be?
Yeah, but see, the only good thing about that is that you get paid beforehand, or the money's already taken out of his account, so you don't have to worry about him stiffing you on the ride. Now he might stiff you for a tip, but that's something totally different. But I mean, what he did, look, I mean, you can say whether or not a team should have got him, but at the end of the day, he helped the Bucks win a Super Bowl. So if nothing else, they got something out of it, and it was worth having him on that particular team at that particular time. Now they thought they could run it back and bring him back, and things happen, of course, and whatever the situation is, whether he claimed he was injured and didn't want to go back in the game, or the coach asked him to go back in the game and he didn't, and they kicked him off, or they told him to go leave or whatever. I mean, that's probably going to be debatable until the end of time. But no, I don't feel sorry for him. I'm not going to feel sorry for him. I'm not going to make excuses for him. I think if he should be waived. I think in about 20 minutes from the he should be released from the Bucks in about 20 minutes. So I think over the next 24 hours, I doubt anyone will try to sign him or whatever. If they do, if they don't sign him, he'll become an unrestricted free agent. And if anybody wants to sign him, then they could, perhaps the Rams or the Packers or somebody. I don't know, but his time. At the end of the day, it was worth it for the Bucks because they got a Super Bowl win out of it.
I do want to say, in a weird scenario here, the NBA had a very similar situation happen where Christian Wood got into an argument with the staff, but he stayed and didn't play in the second half. But Kevin Porter Jr., he left at halftime. What are the odds in two different professional organizations, two dudes decide to just bail and leave at halftime? That has to be one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
It's the world we live in now. I mean, there's, I don't want to sound like some old dude or whatever, but there's not a lot of loyalty on either side of things. And that's always the way it's understood. The teams are the teams. They're the ones that pay you. They're the ones that put up the money to be in the league and all that stuff. And they'll cut anyone. They'll get it. So I guess why not have a player cut a team? I guess. But it puts out bad signals to everyone else that you want to get a job with, that you can't count on this person. We're looking at the world now where, college athletes can transfer, one-time transfer, no problem. You can go do whatever you want. Coaches leave on college athletes when they might be going to the college football playoff. Coaches go with other coaches and they leave and go to other jobs. I mean, this is just where we are. Whether it's loyalty or, morals or whatever it is, it seems to be generally out the window in a lot of ways. Good, bad, whatever, it is what it is. You're not putting the genie back in the bottle. Like if they had free agency in football after 2 years, everyone would just leave teams. The reason, whether it's fair or unfair or antitrust laws or whatever, the reason they do it for fans is you get to actually have someone on your team while they get good, and you get to be a fan of someone and you go watch them play. Now everyone just leaves, colleges within 9 months of being there, and you go to another college. Fine. It's good for the kids, whatever. It's not good for fans. It's probably not good for all the kids because they want to go somewhere and there's nowhere to go. It's good for the best. Most of these rules turn out being great for the best of the best and not very good for the little guy. The little kid who thinks he's good and wants to transfer somewhere, I'm going to go transfer, and then you don't have a spot to go. Or someone who thinks, I'm not going to sign my non-tender for the Royals and Mike Moustakas, and then you find there's no one out there to pay you $15 million a year, and you've cost yourself money. You know what I mean? So whatever. I mean, Antonio Brown wants to leave during a game, go ahead. But he has to deal with the consequences that everyone else is like, we don't want you now. Well, I can't trust you. Tom Brady is like the king of teammates. He supposedly whips guys into shape, and they all come together and they play well. If you quit on Tom Brady, wow. That's something.
It's funny because that's the biggest reason why I don't feel sorry for AB, because Tom Brady stuck his neck out for this dude. Not once, not twice, but 3 times he stuck his neck out for Antonio Brown. And this is the things that you get in return. So, yeah, that's why I don't feel sorry for him, and I'm not going to make any excuses for him, and I'm not going to even use mental health as an issue. I mean, he is who he is, and he was that way before he got to New England. He was that way in Pittsburgh, going live, Facebook Live, in the Chiefs visiting locker room after they beat the Chiefs 18-16, get ready to take on the New England Patriots after that. No, he's, this is par for the course. This is who he is. He just the difference between what he does and what we do is that he makes a lot more money, which enhances what he does. Plus, it was actually seen live on television. His quote unquote meltdown or whatever you want to say that took place with him. So I don't feel sorry for him, and hopefully we've seen the last of him.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you guys think this is the last we see of AB in the NFL?
I can't imagine a team would sign him.
Darren, you want the Chiefs to sign him?
I wanted them to sign him when he was a free agent. Yeah, I don't have no problem with that.
No, this is why.
Hold on, Sterling. You know what you're gonna get now, but again, hold on, Sterling. Tampa Bay signed him last year. Where did they end up at? How did their season end?
They won the Super Bowl. I don't.
And who scored a touchdown? I don't think
that's Well, they didn't need that one.
Yeah,
they had enough. I don't think that's the reason they won the Super Bowl.
But he contributed.
He definitely did. He scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, and your team goes to the Super Bowl. That's one thing. But that's the only time he's ever won a Super Bowl. And he's gotten a lot of yards, and he's been on a lot of good teams.
I get that.
He's been a problem everywhere he's gone. I want to give a new award to Mike Tomlin for somehow holding together Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell.
Hold on.
Big Ben.
And Big Ben.
And Big Ben.
And Juju Smith-Schuster.
And
Ray McLeod, who was getting up in dudes' faces down 30.
James Harrison wanted to kill anyone walking.
And Deontay Johnson as well. Let's not forget him.
What has Deontay Johnson done except do great things like get 12 targets for 60 yards?
Did you not forget that whole first down bit where he's taking the ball away?
Chase Claypool.
Well, okay,
Claypool.
Same guy, different number.
Different guy. I like Deontay Johnson.
Okay,
Chase Claypool.
That guy then still. Yeah, so Mike Tomlin, we got to name an award after Mike Tomlin just because.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, gosh, yes, of the NFL. So, yeah, but look, let's take a quick time out because I do want to get Lebo's thoughts on the college football playoffs and stuff before and of course, his thoughts on Saturday's game between the Chiefs and the Broncos. You're listening to Darren and Sterling right here on ESPN Kansas City.
Hi, I'm Jordan, president of Digital Lagoon, a web and design agency. This year, I'm proud to be celebrating 25 years in business. Here at Digital Lagoon, we can provide you with a strategic digital marketing strategy. With the implementation of social media, SEO, and online advertising, these programs are proven to improve your website traffic. Let us collaborate with you to structure a plan and cut through the digital noise. Check us out at lagoon.com. That's lagoon.com.
'Tis the season to start thinking about holiday gift giving. Let me suggest the gift of flexibility with a Stretch Zone gift certificate. We all need more flexibility and less pain in our life. Stretch Zone offers 30-minute practitioner-assisted stretching sessions that can help with muscle tightness, stiffness, tension, and limited mobility. Treat someone you care about to the gift of a stretch. I promise they will not be disappointed. Check them out at stretchzone.com with 4 KC locations in OP, Lenexa, Prairie Village, and Lee Summit.
Family Leisure's After Christmas clearance sale is here. Family Leisure has the best prices of the year on closeout, scratch and dent, and overstock products, and bonus deals for you if you mention 810. Pool tables, foosball, air hockey, bars, and bar stools reduced by up to 70%. Hot tubs, tanning beds, and home theater seating at their best prices. Family Leisure has the best products, best selection, and best prices guaranteed. Take advantage of the special 810 deals while they last. Family Leisure, K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe.
Awesome.
Hey, KC, this is Jack Johnson, the host of The Shift on ESPN Kansas City. If you live in Leawood, you have heard plenty about the Iron Horse Bar and Grill located on the corner of Null and 151st Street. They've become a local favorite with their scratch cooking and late-night fun atmosphere, including live music, karaoke, and DJ events.
But did you know they have the best happy hour in the area with drink specials running from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and a reverse happy hour Sunday through Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m.?
Check out the Iron Horse Bar and Grill on 151st and Null.
Here's a terrific way to start the new year right. Get fit, stay fit, and save big. It's all at the J, the Jewish Community Center, with the area's best full-service fitness center, indoor and outdoor pools, and so much more. I love it, my family loves it, and you will too, especially now when you can enjoy 2 months free. And you can win a $500 grocery gift card and more if you come to one of 2 open houses on Saturday, January 15th and Tuesday, January 25th. Visit the jkc.org/open house for more information.
Hi, I'm Jordan, president of Digital Lagoon, a web and design agency. This year, I'm proud to be celebrating 25 years in business. Here at Digital Lagoon, we can provide you with a strategic digital marketing strategy. With the implementation of social media, SEO, and online advertising, these programs are proven to improve your website traffic. Let us collaborate with you to structure a plan and cut through the digital noise. Check us out at lagoon.com. That's lagoon.com.
Welcome back to Darren and Sterling here on ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, 1510.com. Darren just shook his head. He was not a fan of this song, but Levo.
He knew it was Judas Priest, though.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right, Darren?
No. I did not.
No?
No. Still a Turkish mess off my head.
Turbo Lover, right?
There you go, yeah. Nothing beats
Has a whole different meaning when you learn about Rob Halford.
Well, that is very true. Very true.
If you're gonna play some 80s music or something like that, could you please play "Party All the Time" by Eddie Murphy or something, dude? I mean,
My
at least let it
girl
be some,
wants to party all the time.
What about "Boogie in Your Butt"? That's also by Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. I mean, it's Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy could do it all, man.
He can do it all. All right, Darren, get Lebo's questions. I know you wanted to ask him some stuff.
Lebo, your thoughts on the college football playoff semifinals and who wins?
They were kind of boring, man.
I know we're going to talk about it more so next Monday night, but just interested in hearing your thoughts on it.
The games were kind of boring. I was really disappointed in Michigan.
Really, I was too.
You know, they weren't very good. Cincinnati fought as hard as they could, right? I mean, they're just not talented enough. And once they blew their chance to score twice on the opening drive, I knew they were in trouble because field goals aren't going to beat Bama. They fought hard and got in there, but Michigan was really disappointing. Georgia had a special night, catching everything, one-hand catches and all this bit, and all the turnovers for Michigan. So it's the best game left is Michigan or Georgia and Alabama again. I haven't really settled on what I think is going to happen yet. Give me some time on that because it's next Monday. But I mean, Alabama made pretty easy work of them before, but did Georgia wake up and answer the bell, and will they be ready to go this time? I don't know. I know it's gonna be one of the hottest tickets that they've had because it's in Indianapolis, which is close enough to drive for all the people who want to go. Now, it's not like a few years ago when they had this game in Atlanta. That was really insane, but Indy's a pretty small place. It's barely 70,000. You ain't walking in that place for $30. It ain't happening. It's going to be a big game for sure.
Leo, can you get your boy a credential? Can you contact Westwood One? Because I'll fly in Sunday from Denver and then drive to Indianapolis and just stay with my sister.
You don't need to be going anywhere else like that right now, Darren. You need to come home to Kansas City.
That's a no, Darren, I believe, if I'm reading between the lines here.
Hey, little news for you that happened during the show.
Oh,
Caleb Williams, the quarterback at Oklahoma, has officially entered the transfer portal.
Huh?
But says in his release when he entered the transfer portal, that doesn't mean he's not going to stay at Oklahoma. But officially, the rules are to talk to anyone, you have to be in the portal. So this is the world we live in now, where you recruit a player, and then you have to let them go to the portal and then re-recruit the player. That's where we are in 2022.
So how much money is Lincoln Riley getting from USC to get this boy over here to get?
I don't think that's where the talk is that he'd go. There's a lot of talk about Georgia because their quarterbacks are no good and they got people lining up with NIL money. There's some talk about Miami where Mario Cristobal went, right? The Oregon guy.
Coach.
And did they hire Joe Brady?
Oh, no, but it's Miami.
Oh, from Carolina?
Yeah. Who helped develop Joe Burrow when he was at LSU.
Yeah.
There's that. I mean, Oklahoma is selling the fact that they've got Jeff Lebby, who was Ole Miss's coordinator this year. And, you know, Matt Corral hurt himself in the game, but looking like a top 10 pick. Mizzou's already got their guys.
We got our guys, baby.
Anyway, so that's where we are in 2022. You recruit a player, and then you have to play the game with them because he's a star quarterback, and you have to allow him to go test the waters. That's where we are.
So now they're losing their top two quarterbacks, Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Here's the deal. It's holding up all of college football because if he leaves, there are transfer quarterbacks lining up to come to Oklahoma, right? But they can't do that yet. And school starts at all these schools in about 8 or 9 days. So it's just a mess right now. Welcome to college football.
Before we get out of here, Lebo, of course, Chiefs travel to Denver. I head there Friday. Give us your winner.
Well, the Chiefs win this game. And they should win this game. If they don't win this game, they got real problems. They need to go win this game and hope for the best. I mean, they're good enough to beat the Broncos. They've beaten them 13 times in a row. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's absurd.
All of the times in a row.
Well,
so they ought to win this game.
Well, Lebo, thank you so much for joining us. God willing, I'll be home late tonight, sometime tonight. Hopefully sometime.
Travel safe.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. So, Sterling, take it away.
All right, for Darren, I am Sterling Holmes. We'll be back live in studio tomorrow. At least I will be. Darren will be. He's probable to return for tomorrow. Tonight's game, Cleveland against Pittsburgh. Let's go Steelers. Yeah. We're out.